So hey, what's up guys? My name is Yugioh from Screencasters, and I was supposed to do a Fire King Yubel deck profile, but for whatever reason, that deck evolved into rank 10 Kaiju trains. Don't ask me how. It's a really fun deck, guys. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get into the duels first. So this first duel is against bad Cyber Dragons. He's using Cyber Dragons with a network, which is pretty weird. And he made me go first, and this isn't really a hand you want to go first in, so I just pass and give it to him. And yeah, as soon as he summoned that core, I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna get power bonded for game. But he searched out the network, which is a pain in the ass. So the thing about network is if you destroy it, these guys come back, but it also nukes his own back row. So I wanted to hit the network with my quote unquote MST, which is Galaxy Cyclone. But what he does is basically go into Rampage and attack me. He almost beat me. He puts me under 2k because of the 3 attacks. But if he had Limiter or he power bonded it, he would have won. And it kind of makes me feel bad that I almost lost this deck. But he searched for original Cyber Dragon. I don't know why I didn't search for Soldier, although since he doesn't have another light, that makes sense. But I don't even think he's playing it. So first off, I blind MST into one of his back rows, hoping I hit the network. And I hit the network. And since I destroyed network, all his back row gets nuked. And he gets all his monsters, but it doesn't matter because I have the Kaiju Slumber card, which nukes it. And the one Kaiju you always want to give yourself is basically the Jizz Kaiju because he's rank 10. And it doesn't even matter most of the time if you give him Gamma Cell. Although Gamma Cell does work during either player's turn, you don't normally have counters because usually you rely more on Switchyard than the Kaiju Field Spell, so it doesn't even matter. So here's Switchyard putting in some work. I discard Ruffian for a search, going to my rank 10. The cool thing is I overlay Jizz Kaiju. I make him those materials with Daracrane. So not only do I get to special summon another Jizz Kaiju because I no longer have a Kaiju and he still does, Daracrane is going to get me a pop when he, gets attached to the material. So what I do is attach him to 2000, burn with Gustav Max, use Daracrane's effect to nuke my own Gamma Cell, make another Gustav Max, detach for even more burn, and do 6000 to face free game. So yeah, that's the first duel. That's kind of what the deck is made to do. Double rank 10s, Gustav Max, MVP. On to the next one. So this next one is against, I guess, Blue Eyes Chaos Max. He doesn't draw into his max, so he just searched out ARA and pass. I could have OTK'd him this turn, but I didn't, so I made a lot of misplays in this one. Just give it a second. There it is. So I did a standard play. I gave him Doggerin, and I gave myself the Jizz Kaiju, but the problem is I didn't have enough counters to get a search, so I kind of just like goofed up on that, so I put another field spell. The problem is I summoned Cyber End before I put another field spell, so I activated this, didn't get a search, summon this, and then add another field spell. So the problem with that is I should have done that in a different order. Since I did it in that specific order, I slapped on a new field spell, this field spell dies, so that means he dies. So yeah, I probably could have actually OTK'd if I didn't actually do that. So I misplayed very hard there. So I got a search. You always want to have this combo, which is Night Express Knight and Daracrane for your free pop plus 2000 damage. So normal summon, search, do 2000 burr, Daracrane pops that. And I probably would have had game. This is 63, he's got 6000. But that call to Haunted comes in clutch for him, and I just nuke him. And he's still alive, barely. And he makes kind of a comeback, if that makes sense. He does something really cool. So I got my Ruffian search. He goes Monk into some random Blackwing tuner, goes into Beals, and Megamorphs it. That's how I know he's playing Chaos Max, Megamorph, blah blah blah, the piercing, blah blah. But Beals is kind of not really a problem, especially in this deck. Kaijus have a way to get rid of everything, but the thing is, I wanted my field spell up because I had this guy. No matter what, as long as I had my field spell, I would have won. Once he nuked, I was kind of iffy. But honestly, even if he did nuke my field spell, which he did, I could just normal summon Express Knight without tributing, overlay for Gustav Max to do 2000 burn. But I want, he took 1000 burn from the Blackwing tuner, but I drew into the Kaiju Slumber, got a search, and I wanted to put some salt in the wound. He was at 100. I honestly could have just attacked, made Gandara let an attack over it, but I had to do 2000 burn. It's just too swag. So that's something. The thing about Kaijus, they can get over basically any monster in the game as long as we're strict ain't up or vanities. Your boss monsters mean nothing. Even if he did bring out the Chaos Max, I probably would have been easy to get over it because Slumber has a grave effect, which is the search. It's also a good card to discard with your Switchyard. On for the next duel. And this one is against Dark Magicians and Girls. He is main decking the Huge Revolution is over, which is pretty nice. I mean, you do have a lot of back row and Magicians, you want to protect it. And that's another thing, Solemn Warning. This deck does lose to Solemn Warning since our Dark Hole is stopped by Warning. So I wanted to stop it. I didn't know what it was. I blinded into it. I did cut the Kaiju files. I did Slumber. And one more thing, you don't, I think I already said this, but you don't mind giving your opponent Gamma Cell because you want Switch Yard a lot more. So I did some train things, I attacked over it, I did misplay. I could have overlaid Jizz Kaiju with Night, Express Night, Special Summon Kumungus for even more damage. But I just was thinking I kind of want to go with Dora, but I probably could have won that. But I did take out files because you don't really resolve it often. I mean, you don't care about counters, and I mistakenly thought Dora's effect was exactly like Felgrand's effect, but it's a little bit worse because it doesn't negate the card's effects, it just makes it unaffected by everything except itself. So I thought, oh, I gotta stop that draw, but nah. But he does a pretty man move. I do appreciate that. He discards and draws into a Lord of Darkness. He has no cards in his hand. He activates it like a man, draws double Veil with no darks, and just had to send him to the grave. It's very unfortunate, but I thought that was pretty pro. Major props to him for doing that. So I get my search, do some Kaiju things, pop that. That's also another reason why I like a Cyclone. You use it as MST destroy the back row. And then if they flip anything, you could just, like, you know, just blow it up, you know. It helps with those floodgates, and you could discard it with your switch yard. So I could do some Kaiju things, blah, blah, blah. It uses Kumungus effects, which get rid of my counters, which is why this. I don't even use this anymore, the files, so, you know, the Kaijus are more of a means to an end. So I'm basically doing some train things, and I got 3 level 10s on board. I thought, had to make the swag, had to make the big man himself, the Megazord. And the best thing about him is that he did have Huge Revolution is over, but the problem is he could not activate it because, you know, Big Megazord is basically Harpy's Feather Duster combined with Super Poly. You know, your opponent cannot activate spell and trap cards, this affects activation. So even if he could have stopped it, even since this is a counter trap, he just wasn't able to actually do it. Just love it. And then I just attack for 5,000, blow up my own stuff, game. So yeah, that's it for the duels. On for a deck profile. On for the deck profile of rank 10 Kaiju trains. Do Malefic Cybrand is a free level 10 you can special summon. 3 Jizz Kaiju, he's a level 10, you can special summon for free. He's the one you're basically giving yourself with Slumber. 3 Night Express Knight and 3 Derek Crane for the standard train combo. Do a 2000 burn damage with Gustav Max and pop a card with Derek Crane's effect. They're both searchable with your main field spell. 2 Exodius, I wanted him to pop up in the duels, but he didn't. In theory, he's a free level 10 you can special summon that recycles back your Ruffian Rail cards, your Kaijus, and trains and stuff to graveyard, and you get a free level 10 in the process. 1 Doggerin, 1 Godarla, 2 Gamma 1 Radiant, and 1 Kumungus. One of all the Kaijus actually matter. I only do 2 Gamma though. If you're doing more of a pure Kaiju build, you can go with 3, but you don't really kick off his negating effect because the only way you can really get counters with Capture Mission and your field spell. But since you most of the time have this field spell out, the switch yard is more of just an extra, you know, I guess win harder. But it's a nice thing. It's another thing to give your opponent other than, you know, just Doggerin, because even though you can activate on either player's turn, they basically can't activate, if that makes sense, because we have no counters. 3 Ruffian Rail card. It's a really good card. He's your main source of discarding with your switch yard. But the cool thing about him is he also does burn damage, so even though switch yard, if you get the special summon from deck effect, you can't do any battle damage, but the 500 bird from him plus 2000 from Gustav Max still goes through. He's easy to discard and get your search during end phase. It's pretty nice. 2 Maxi, because it is the best card of this format. You need those draws, really great. 2 Cyclone, you do not have enough advantage to actually pull off Twin Twisters. Even though you have some things you want to discard, Galaxy Cyclone is a little bit better for me. Use as MST, you can discard it with your switch yard, and it helps pop scales and floodgates. 1 Regeki is basically your best card. It's your 4th, basically, Slumber. 3 Terraformings, you need your field spells. 3 Slumber, the best card of the deck. Dark Hole, with advantage, and searching, it's amazing. Also, possible discard fodder with your switch yard. 2 Waterfront, 3 Switch Yard. Switch Yard is obviously better for this build, but 2 Waterfront to help get you search for your Kaijus in longer term situations, so you can just get rid of boss monsters. And 1 Capture Mission, in theory it's a good card, if Book of Moons dies, blah blah blah, it's okay. The extra deck doesn't really matter. You'll be going into Gustav Max and Dora most of the time. Gustav Max a little bit more so because this is more of an OTK build than a stun build. You can actually tech in the spiders in there too to 7 sin stuff. I mean, you can actually bring out the Galaxy Destroyer pretty easily, but it's not recommended because you do make a lot of resources to make them. It's a little bit less payout depending on how much back row they have, but they can't respond to it, so that's pretty good. So, yeah, that's it for the deck profile. So yeah, guys, hope you like the deck profile. It's a really fun deck. The duels kind of showed off what it's supposed to do, but I'd love to hear what you guys have to say down below on how to make this deck better, how to just add stuff to it, add to the Ring 10 aspect and the kaijus that it has. So yeah, hope you guys like the video. Don't forget to like the video, comment the video, and subscribe to my channel, which is Screencasters, for more epic and amazing videos similar to this one. Once again, my name is Yugioh from Screencasters. I'm signing out. See you guys.
Hurry up, give